I have this recurring nightmare that at work and the boss comes in and says that we've all been made redundant.
The meeting, which we are having now, this one, there is concern. I am here to abate. Is it the word abate? Not sate. I'm not here to feed you. That's the canteen's job. It will hopefully be done in time to have some food from there. But before you go to the canteen, it is, in regards to the cuts, I'm afraid the onus falls on me. I didn't say bonus, but saw some pound signs flash across your eyes just now. Oh, bonus, is it saying bonus? No, the B is off that word. It is onus. It is a heavy burden which I come to you. Perhaps you're hearing something that isn't there, adding that B to the onus, the wishful B, in the hopes that that onus will be made a bonus. Well, I'm afraid not. It is a wishful B. Was it a poem by Sir Arthur Gredling, the wishful bee?
That's very good. I could have covered 2 sides of A4 by now and you haven't even started.
Good. Well, it's good to see some of you here, some of you not here, but I'm sure those of you who are not here will be here shortly. So I won't speak to them, I'll speak to you. If you don't know me, my name is David Druid. I'm the controller for the BBB, the British Broadcasting Brigade. I'm also known as the British Broadcasting Brigade Controller, so you can say it either way. You put controller at the beginning or controller at the end, but I am David Druid. So the reason I've called this meeting, 2 reasons. There's something important to tell you, and I think there was only one reason. That was the reason that I have something important to tell you. So, good morning. We have tea. There's tea. Well, there's tea on every floor, so you've got tea. Good. Okay. So the concern. People are concerned. There's a lot of concern going on. Is the BBB making cuts? There's only one way to answer that question. There's many ways to answer that question, but there's one way that I will use, and that would be a sort of direct, to the point, not obfuscating it in any way. So that's how I would answer that. Is the BBB making cuts? So, yeah, Donna.
So are there going to be cuts?
Is the BBB making cuts?
No.
Yes, we're going to address that. That's going to be part of the... Steve,
Hi.
good to see you. How's the... You had something wrong with you, didn't you?
No, fine.
You're fine. You never had anything wrong
Never
with you?
had anything wrong
Good.
with me, no.
Well, all on the up and up there. Yes. Well, if you've read any of the papers or heard any of our... Well, I'm sure you have. Some of you are presenting the news, actually. So you probably heard that there is a recession going on. Ouch. The recession, the dangerous thing that lurks in our midst. What does it mean for... Yes,
What does
Donna.
it mean for us?
What does it mean for you? I'm getting to that. Yes. Are they making cuts? Well, I think we can all sort of take part in that sort of whimsical nostalgia that just thinks about, the good old days at the BBB, we didn't worry about that. I'm sure Mr. Tetley here can remember the good old days. Can you, Mr.?
Oh, I should say
Yeah,
so. I
it's
should say
murder.
so. Of course, back in those days, the good old days weren't known as the good old days. They were
Yes.
just the good days. And I think in retrospect, if we'd known that they were going to get
He
over,
wouldn't-
we
yeah,
would
that's
have
exactly.
not
Yeah.
allowed them to go any further and just stayed in the moment a little bit more.
Right,
But,
right. That's a very good point. If you don't know, Mr. Tetley doesn't actually officially work here anymore.
No.
But he is a sort of a senior advisory. What do you actually do here, Mr. Tetley?
I just come for the Jaffa cakes, free Jaffa cakes. My wife won't let me have the Jaffa cakes at home. She says they're bad for my self-esteem, which never quite understood that. I think she sees them in much the same way as heroin.
Yes, heroin,
Which is funny because I think actually, from what I understand, is that heroin is actually quite good for the self-esteem.
Right.
It's those ruddy times when you're not on the heroin, once you sort of set that ball in motion, that is sort of bad for your self-esteem. So,
Quite. So we're just waiting for people to filter in. So Mr. Tetley was just telling us about heroin and Jaffa cake. So, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the whole gist of the thrust. Yes, is the BBB making cuts? Well, one could argue that yes, they are taking the thing from the communist flag, the
Scythe.
the scythe.
Yes,
The
scythe.
Is it a scythe?
Sickle.
And they're sort of scything away
Scything.
things. Yes, Donna.
What about my kids?
Well, I'm getting to that, Donna. Yes, your kids are fine for now. Yes, what does that mean? That means that there will be some cuts unless we make some adjustments. And so I think looking at linear time on paper, I think we can all agree that 2013 is not the glory days. And I think what we really would like to do is sort of go back to those good old days of 1987. On the up and up, and all things were good and no fears of recession. So the long and the short of it is we will be moving the BBB to 1987, so starting Monday morning. So what does that mean for you? Well, if you have friends or family here in the present, you need to tell them that you're going to be younger. If you have any children that were born after 1987, you do need to tell them that they will no longer exist. So I think that's scary news for some of you, but maybe good news for some of you. Mr. Tedley, I'm sure you're looking forward to...
Oh, I should say so. My heart was in much better condition. The old ticker was really running back then. Quite saturated with so many Jaffa cakes over the years. Jaffa.
Don't do as the wishful bee. Don't do as the wishful bee. He's quite mad, trying to buzz around all the flowers in this great garden. Don't be as the wishful do. Don't be as the wishful do. Hey comrade, wanna join me inside the blooming present moment? This diet is like everything else, it's mainly just the showing up. 'Cause it's all more natural to choose beyond a choice beyond yourself. And it's all more natural to squander everything in search of wealth. And it's all more natural to be within a then that never sees the day. 'Cause it's there, it's there, it's over there and over there and everywhere. And don't do as the wishful be, then you don't do as the wishful be. He's quite scared, 'cause he never can stop to ask himself directions. Don't be as the wishful. If you do, then you don't be as the wishful do. Be prepared to be living around a million imperfections. If you get out of your way and let your predilections go. 'Cause it's all, 'cause it's all, 'cause it's all wishful, 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 'cause it's all wishful to choose. 'Cause it's all, 'cause it's all wishful, 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 'cause it's all wishful to be. 'Cause it's all gonna come, 'cause it's all wishful, 'cause it's all gonna come, 'cause it's all wishful, 'cause it's all wishful, 'cause it's all be right now. 'Cause it's all gonna come, 'cause it's all wishful, 'cause it's all gonna wishful, 'cause it's all wishful, 'cause it's all wishful, 'cause it's all be
Kids are fucking it up. Swans don't go for that shit.
What are they doing wrong?
Noise and squeezing a rubber duck out of it.
Idiots.
Swan. 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 Swan.
They must get full after a while. What are you watching?
I'm gonna try and find a TED Talk.
TED Talks.
Because they're inspiring.
Inspiring. TED Talks is nothing but a lot of Ponzi.coms going out.
Be clever.
You don't have to be clever.
You do.
I saw a TED Talk one time about a man who didn't know how to use a butter knife, but then did.
'Cause it's all, 'cause it's all, 'cause it's all wishful, 'cause it's all wishful, 'cause it's all.
When I came here this morning to give my TED Talk, I had two questions on my mind. Who the hell's Ted and why do I want to talk to him? And they explained to me before the show there is nobody named Ted. Well, there are people named Ted, but that's not related to this thing. There's a lot of people named Ted. Ted Turner, Teddy Roosevelt, But this ain't the Ted we're talking about here today. Now, they told me we can talk about wherever you talk as long as it's uplifting and inspiring and has something to do with .com. Well, I don't know nothing about .com, but I own 12 oil fields out in the state of California and another 12 oil fields out in the state of Oklahoma, and making for 24 oil fields in all. Now, some of that oil goes into computers. I don't know how. I had a computer one time. I spilled oil all over it, and it certainly didn't do it a whole lot of good. But I was supposed to lift y'all up, so I think I'll tell you the story about the time I had a big old lump on the back of my head taken off. Now, it weren't a tumor or anything like that, and I wasn't going to die. I just fell asleep in a bowl of ice cream. I used to have a drinking problem. That ice cream, other than melt, it was a weird kind of ice cream. It wasn't the melting kind. I just did a quick hair wash, and that'd been done. But it was the reverse kind of ice cream that froze the harder you went out and just didn't wash it. So I had a big old golf ball live sump on my word problem. I had a word problem there for a while. Got over it a few seconds ago. I had the lump removed, not from a doctor, but from my own inside. I'm my own God, as it were, and that's the message today. Don't let anybody sell you on no Jesus. Don't let anybody tell you that you got to believe this way to get to heaven. Heaven's right here on earth. Hell, I got 24 oil fields, five steers of cattle, 9 hens of chickens. I've lived a good life. I got 12 wives in succession and a big automobile. And how did I get that? It wasn't from going down on my knees every Sunday in a churchyard. No, it's from standing up when I was 9 years old and saying to the preacher, "Fuck you, I want money," and getting out the door. And that's my TED Talk to you today. Now, I know we got a little girl here in the front row of the TED Talk, and she was born without a body or a head or nothing at all. You can't see her. Her name's Chrysanda. But I got one word for you. Get out of my head. You're a figment of my imagination. And that's my message to all y'all today. Oil, oil, oil. I'm TED Talk, Teddy Johnson.